You do not need more time. You need more discipline. You already waste hours every single week. Do not tell me you don't have enough time when you're trying to break old patterns and build new ones. This plan will be your saving grace. It will be your structure when your emotions are messy. It will give you direction when your mind is chaotic, and it takes the decision making out of the moment, and it saves you from yourself. Or I should say, it saves your higher self from your lower self. I'm Radhi Devlukia, and on my podcast, A Really Good Cry, we embrace the real, the messy, and the beautiful, providing a space for raw, unfiltered conversations that celebrate vulnerability and allow you to tune in to learn, connect, and find comfort together. Hey everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of A Really Good Cry. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all for listening. I hope you've all had such a lovely week. But listen, we have maybe 13 weeks left until Christmas. I know that sounds wild, bizarre, insane, whatever the word is. It's crazy. The fact that we may have only about 13 weeks, depending on when you're listening to this, away from Christmas. And if I'm honest, I'm reminding you of this because I do not want you to be ending this year full of regret, full of, I'm going to do better next year. Because honestly, that is the worst kind of disappointment. It's when you let yourself down. And why leave to next year what you can do this year when you still have time to do it right now? I am not going to let you do that because I've done it before. I've been there. I've been disappointed with myself at the end of the year. I've got to the end of the year thinking, God, I really did have the time to do that. Why didn't I do it? I really wish I had done this. I really wish I'd put my time and invested my energy into doing this thing. I do not want you to go through that. And I know if you're part of this community, you don't want to be in that place either. But sometimes we just need a little bit of loving, sometimes tough loving, encouragement from others around us, people who have the same desire, people who have the same motivations, people who have been there before and don't want you to make that same mistake that they did. Today, my friends, I'm going to be that person for you because I think when we get to a place where we're disappointed with ourselves, it's harder than any other kind of disappointment. And it's something that's really difficult to work through and process. So how about we just don't get there? Avoid it as much as possible, disappointing ourselves. And that means putting in some work. It's not going to be easy. I'm letting you know right now that this conversation that we're about to have is not going to be easy, but it is absolutely necessary because I'd rather you dislike what I'm saying now, but love yourself at the end of the year. We did not start this year with optimism to end it with disappointment. Absolutely not. It's not a cycle that we're repeating, and I never want you to feel that again. I really want you to look back at this year and feel proud, like actually proud of yourself, accomplished and satisfied that you kept the promises that you made to yourself. But the reality is that you do not get there without sacrifice, without commitment, and without consistency. So before you keep listening, I want you to check yourself really quickly. Are you actually ready for that? Because this isn't about listening to a motivational pep talk and then doing absolutely nothing. No, if that's what you're here for, turn me off right now. This is honestly about deciding that the next 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 13 weeks are going to absolutely count. Every single day, every single week is going to count towards you feeling fabulous about yourself at the end of the year. This episode was actually fueled by conversations that I've been having with some friends that have really been struggling to commit to what it takes to become who they want to be. And it's so hard as a friend, seeing someone that you love so much feeling disappointed in themselves, not committing to what they need to do to make themselves into the person they want to be. As a friend, I will tell you, I don't know which side of it you're on listening to this, but it is so hard watching you. And I can only imagine how hard it is for you if it's this hard watching. Because I promise you, when you look back in 10 weeks' time, the regret will never be that you missed out on that one party or that you didn't spend that weekend with your friends or that you didn't go watch that movie. I guarantee you that regret is nothing in comparison to the regret you will feel if you did not back yourself when it actually mattered. We unfortunately live in this culture these days that glorifies balance, but the reality is that sometimes balance is not what you need short term. sometimes to get what you need to get done for the result that you want, you have to tip the scales all to one side and pour every ounce of energy into proving to yourself that you can do the thing that you've been dreaming about all this time. So I'm asking you, what would happen if for the next 10 weeks you actually went all in, not dabbling, not I'll try, not dipping your toes in, but fully submerge yourself, head underwater, breathing it, living it? What would that look like for you? Close your eyes and visualize what that would feel like. What would your morning look like? What would your afternoon look like? What would your evening look like? More importantly, how would it make you feel? How would you feel if you got to the end of the day and you ticked off everything on your to-do list? How would you feel every single week if you were 1 step closer, 2 steps closer, 3 steps closer to living the life that you want, to being the person that you want to be? How would that discomfort feel of doing things that you're not used to? And you know what? Visualizing this is really important because when you get to actually doing it, you'll actually feel like you've already done it before. It will feel not comfortable. I'm not saying it's going to feel a breeze, but it will definitely feel just that little bit more comfortable. Like you've already been here before. Like you know you can do it if you put your mind to it. And so the more that you do things, the more that you visualize it, and then the more that you actually do them, the more comfortable you become with it. It is just simple science. You think about when you started walking as a child, the first time you fell 1,000 times. You felt uncomfortable. You're probably scared. The more you did it, the more your legs became used to it, the more your physical body became used to it, the more your mind became used to doing it, and eventually it just became second nature. And so the more you think about something, the more you do something, the more comfortable you're going to get with it, and the more it's going to become like second nature to you. And look, I am not saying any of this to make you feel guilty. I'm saying it because you deserve to see what it feels like when you do not abandon yourself, when you finally keep a promise to yourself, and when you end this year and you can look at yourself in the mirror, right in the eyes and say, I did not let myself down this year. Because I know how that feels. I've been there, I've done it for years, and I'm telling you, it does not feel good. And I definitely 100% did not regret saying no to the parties when I ended the year saying, I bloody did it. I actually did what I said I was going to do, and I feel incredible. No part of me regretted saying no to the parties, to my friends, to any of it. Thing is, it does require consistency and commitment. And I'm going to be honest with you, consistency and commitment feels absolutely disgusting at first. It is not fun because you are not used to it. It may even make you feel like there's so much pressure on you. Physically, you'll feel it in your body, but mentally too, because you are not used to committing to things. You are not used to having a schedule. All of these things do end up adding something additional to your life. And it can feel like weight because it's something that is so unfamiliar. And you are adding load to your life because usually when you want to achieve something, it requires a little bit more of you. It may even make you feel really anxious because you're not used to living at that fast pace. You're not used to the schedule. And you may even be scared of starting because you are so worried that you'll fail. But whatever those thoughts are, let them be. Let them exist and play them out as much as you need to. But all you need to focus on is staying on that schedule and staying consistent. You cannot live a life based on how you feel. You cannot live your day to day based on how you feel because all your mind and your body want to feel is comfort. So for those few months, do not let your mind tell you how you spend that morning. Don't let your emotions dictate whether you do something or don't do it. You're going to have to ignore that for a little bit. What you are going to have to do is let your schedule and your planning tell you what you're doing, regardless of how you're feeling. Which is why the planning is just so important. It is the crux of you making it or breaking it. Planning and having a strict schedule with yourself is so necessary. It is the foundation of whether you will succeed or not. And I cannot stress that enough. Especially in these times where you're trying to do things that you have not done before, or walking on grounds you've never walked before. Or when you're trying hard to stay consistent, because when you are trying to step into a version of yourself that you've never been before and you've never walked that path, your feelings will fight you every step of the way. So know that that's going to happen. At least if you know what you're looking out for. Your brain will throw out every single excuse. I'm tired. You could do it tomorrow. Come on, you've got so much time tomorrow. I don't feel inspired today, but tomorrow I will. You know what? actually, I've worked really hard for these couple of hours. I deserve a break. I'm going to go take a break, hang out with my friends. And if you rely on your feelings to lead you, you'll never get anywhere new because feelings will always pull you back to what is safe and familiar. So if you need to have that on repeat in your mind, please do, because it is going to be what carries you on to the next step and the next one. But when you have a plan don't care how you feel. A plan doesn't care if you're tired or insecure or scared. A plan is your roadmap that says, this is what we're doing today, end of story. And you should know that you've created this plan for your success. You should know that you've created this plan knowing yourself. So when you're looking at this plan that you've made, you need to have full faith in it. You need to have full trust that this is what is necessary to get me where I want. And therefore, the planning stage is very important. Sitting down, writing down the goal, writing out every micro step in between, breaking it down between the days, between the weeks. That is why it's so important. When you're pushing yourself to stay consistent, when you're trying to break old patterns and build new ones, this plan will be your saving grace. It will be your structure when your emotions are messy. It will give you direction when your mind is chaotic, and it takes the decision-making out of the moment and it saves you from yourself. Or I should say, it saves your higher self from your lower self. So don't wait until the morning to decide what you're going to do. Decide the night before. Better yet, decide it at the beginning of the week for the whole week. Because when you wake up tired or uninspired or anxious, you will not have the energy to negotiate with yourself. And you won't even have the ability to. You'll just follow the plan. And here's the thing. The more you follow through on that plan, the more you prove to yourself that you can. That wasn't meant to rhyme, but it did. The more you follow through with your plan, the more you just prove to yourself that you can. And you start building evidence. You start building a whole portfolio, a whole bank of evidence for yourself that you are capable of showing up, even when you don't feel like it. And that, my friend, is how confidence is built. That's how true self-trust, self-belief is built. Not from hyping yourself up, not from your friend telling you can, but from keeping your word over and over again. So if consistency feels disgusting at first, it's okay. It's normal. It's part of rewiring yourself. But let your plan carry you through that discomfort until consistency becomes your default. There is this brilliant book called Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. I highly recommend it for this phase of your life, or any phase, to be honest. It has such great reminders in it. But he talks about how most people think discipline is restrictive. But Ryan Holiday flips it and he says discipline actually frees you. If you are disciplined with money, you have financial freedom. If you're disciplined with your body, you move freely. If you're disciplined with your time, you control your life instead of being pulled around by everyone else's demands. He talks about how self-control is the ultimate strength and reminds us that anyone can give into your impulses. We can eat junk food easily. We can skip our workouts, overspending, lashing out. That's so easy. But the person who can pause and choose wisely and stick to the hard thing, that is where real power is at. He also talks about how geniuses and high achievers around the world are not driven by bursts of inspiration. They're actually driven through their consistency with all the small, boring little things. It's the writer who writes every day. It's the athlete who trains every single day. It's that entrepreneur who shows up to do the unglamorous work. Greatness is actually built on boring repetition. You know, something else that's really useful during this time is taking inventory, making sure that you are on track, making sure your mind is where it needs to be. Sometimes we can think we're on track, but we can go so far off and not even realize. And so daily or weekly check-ins are really useful to make sure that you're still going in the direction that's required and necessary, and that your mind is catching up to the work that you need to do, because we need our mindset to be at a certain level. You need your body to physically be at a certain level. And so having these check-ins, allowing yourself to make sure that each part of you is aligned and not holding you back, is going to help you to continue on this journey. And your daily check-ins can help you to reflect on the day to improve your next day. You have to be honest and you have to be brutal in this. So here are some of the questions that you could ask yourself every single day, or if you want, you could do a weekly check-in with these questions to help you reflect on what you can do better. So the first one is, what did I do today to move closer to my goal? You can write as much as you want or as little as you want in these. The second one is, did my actions reflect my priorities or my excuses? You can even write out your actions, all the actions that you took in the day, into a table and categorize them into ones that took me towards my goal or away from them. The third one is, where did I waste my energy or let myself get distracted? The fourth one is, how will I show up differently tomorrow? I'm actually going to eat my breakfast tomorrow because I realized I didn't have enough energy to actually do the work I needed to do, and I lost focus and I wasn't able to really put in my all. If it's a gym goal, you might say, you know what? I didn't eat today because I thought I wanted to train fasted, but actually I realized I wasn't able to push the weights as hard as I usually am. So tomorrow I'm going to prep the night before the meals that I want to eat for the next day. It can be as small or as big as you want it to be. The next one is, if every day for the next 10 weeks looked like today, would I hit my goal? Have a think about that. And that's honestly it. Those 5 questions that you should be asking yourself daily or weekly. And if you stick with that, you'll honestly hold yourself accountable until the end of the year. And it's such a great reflection to have, right? Even if whether it's a spiritual goal, a physical goal, or a mental goal, or a professional goal, these questions can be so useful to help us make sure we're just going in the right direction, to make sure that we are being the person we want to be, that we are in alignment, that we are choosing the life we want to live every single day. And here are some harsh truths that you might need to remind yourself during this shift. You do not need more time. You need more discipline. You already waste hours every single week. Do not tell me you don't have enough time. You already waste hours of your week. Imagine what would happen if you redirected them. And the fact is, we do have more time than we think. We spend a lot of time scrolling. Check how much time you're spending on your phone, and it will tell you how much time you have to spare. Simple. How much time are you spending scrolling on Instagram and not learning or doing the things that you want to be doing? As soon as you see that number, that will probably be an indication of the amount of hours that you probably have spare that you could be using on the things that you want to be doing. The next one is, if you don't change now, nothing magical is going to happen on January 1st. You're not going to become a new person in January 1st. We think that all these new years, new beginnings. No, it doesn't happen. It takes preparation to become a new person. You can't just decide on January 1st that this is the new person I'm going to become and it's the new version of me. It's like preparing for an exam. You're not walking into an exam without having revised, expecting to ace it. So how do you think you're going to get to January 1st and suddenly become this new person? Absolutely not going to happen. The preparation is necessary, and this is the preparation to be able to consistently stay the person you want to be. You may go into January 1st being the person you want to be, but then it's about, how am I going to remain it? How am I going to stay this person and keep growing into the better version of that person? So this preparation period is necessary to start the next year in a way that you want to. New year does not reset your habits. It just exposes whether you've been building them. Basically what we've just been saying. The next one is, motivation is useless unless you do not pair it with action. You can believe, you can dream, you can say all the things that you want to do, but let me tell you, if it's not paired with action, it will not take you anywhere. You'll still be sitting in the same place as you were. Action is what's required to actually get to the place you want to be. You need to make moves, okay? You need to be making the moves. Listening to podcasts, watching reels, making vision boards means nothing if you do not do the work. You need to physically, mentally, and emotionally put yourself into the work that is required. If you're waiting until you feel ready, you're going to be waiting forever. That is a truth bomb that is necessary every single day to remember. Action creates readiness, not the other way around. Do not fool yourself into believing you're waiting to be ready before you take action. No, the more you take action, the more ready you will be. You can either have excuses or results, but you cannot have both. Truth. You can either have excuses or results. You cannot have both. Which one do you want is what you need to ask yourself. Every single excuse costs you a piece of a life that you say that you want. I'm going to repeat that one for the people in the back, for the people who weren't listening, who tuned out for a second. Every excuse costs you a piece of the life that you say you want. And your comfort zone is keeping you broke, unfulfilled, and stuck. Remember that. It is not doing you any justice, that comfort zone of yours. Growth and comfort cannot live in the same space. And you'll be surprised how comfortable you will feel in the spaces you felt discomfort in just by staying consistent. And the last one is, people will not clap for you in these next 10 weeks, and they shouldn't. You're not doing this for validation. You're not doing it for other people. You're doing it for you. Forget the claps, forget the applause. It doesn't last long and it does not fulfill you. So remember, this is not about proving yourself to anyone. And if you quit every single time it gets hard, you will spend your whole life starting over and over again. We need to stop being addicted to these fresh starts and fall in love with actually finishing something. You can get so much excitement about starting something, but actually it's when you complete something where you actually get true satisfaction. And so remember, this discipline that you create in these 10 weeks will give you freedom that motivation will never, ever be able to give you. When you build discipline in one area, it actually seeps into every other part of your life. So discipline just in these 10 weeks will benefit you for the rest of your life, and you will only benefit from it. And that's what I've noticed in my life. When I didn't lack discipline is where I feel the most lost in life. When I am disciplined, when I'm doing my meditation in the morning, when I'm getting through my to-do list, when I'm going to my workouts regularly, I feel the best version of myself. And I want you to feel that so badly, because I know what it feels like to be in this state of just existing. You've got to live, and to live, you need discipline. To live, you need to feel life to its fullest. And the only way you get to do that is by really knowing how you're spending your time and your energy. Doing the boring things repeatedly is what creates an extraordinary life. So, my dream, my hope, my deep prayer for you is that when you are sitting there on December 31st, you won't just be celebrating your holidays. You won't just be celebrating Christmas. You won't just be celebrating a new year. You're going to be celebrating yourself. You're going to be celebrating a new version that you have become by committing for these next few weeks. And I really hope that for you so deeply. I hope that for my friends that are struggling. I hope that for you. I hope that for myself. And I really pray that we all get there together. Let me know if you do this. Let me know if you commit. Let me know how it's going. Let me know what your struggles are. I'll keep trying to make episodes to help you along, but share your journey with me. I would love to hear how you're doing. Sending you so much love. So much love is coming from my heart to yours right now. I deeply want this for you, and I know you want it for yourself, but the desire has to be met with action, and that is what this is for. Sending you so much love. Have an incredible week, and I hope it is your planning week where you kill it. Kill it so hard. Love you.